Hey, welcome to the channel, the POPthusiast. I am Paul, and I would like to personally wish you a happy Batman Day, which is the third Saturday in September every year for some reason. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but it just is. To celebrate, I wanted to show my list of top 10 alternate version Batmans. There are so many Batmans out there, so many alternate versions of the character, which I think is part of his appeal. You know, Batman, I think, is 80 some years old, or he's been around for 80 plus years. Doesn't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon, but the Batman concept has been rewritten and tried in many different ways and many different types of characters, which is really awesome. And Funko has made quite a few of those alternate version characters. So I'm going to go ahead and rank my top 10 alternate version Batman Funko Pops. So let's celebrate Batman Day together and let's check these out. So again, I think part of the appeal, or one of the many appealing aspects of Batman and his story, are that there's many different versions of him, or there's many different storylines of him that are not all the same plain old character. You know, I definitely love the original Batman, but sometimes some of the alternate version stories I kind of love a little bit more. And so we're going to talk about some of those today. Number 10 on the list is Thomas Wayne. So Thomas Wayne is, as you may know, Batman's father in the regular timeline, but there was an alternate timeline called Flashpoint several years ago that was created based on something that the Flash, one of his villains, Zoom, was playing around with the time stream. And so it created this alternate universe called Flashpoint, where Bruce Wayne actually is the one that dies in the alleyway as a boy, and his father survives. And so his father, Thomas Wayne, takes on the mantle of Batman and is a much more kind of grittier, violent Batman, even in some cases killing some of his villains. And the other messed up part about this alternate reality is that Bruce's mom, Martha Wayne, actually ends up being that reality's Joker. So, and Funko even made a pop of that one as well. I think it was a Hot Topic exclusive. So pretty creepy. So anyway, Thomas Wayne makes my list at number 10 of my favorite alternate version Batmans. Now, number 9 in the list is from the Superman Red Sun storyline, which again is an alternate reality. And this time, this is Batman Red Sun. So this is a Russian version of Batman. And in that storyline, as you may know, Superman is kind of explores what would happen if Superman landed in his plane as a baby in Russia as opposed to the United States. So this was a really awesome story. I really recommend reading it if you haven't already. But essentially, Batman collaborates with some other entities to fight Superman. So in this story, he teams up with Jimmy Olsen, who in this reality is a CIA agent. Lex Luthor plays a scientist, and some other folks to capture Wonder Woman, who is Superman's girlfriend, essentially, and try to fight Superman. So I won't ruin the story about what happens to Red Sun Batman. I think he appears in the second issue of that series, but check it out for sure. But Batman Red Sun, really awesome alternate version of Batman, and a really cool looking pop as well. Now there is a Superman Red Sun pop that I do not have. He's kind of pricey. I think he's a little over $100, but eventually I'd like to add him to the collection as well. Okay, number 8 on the list is 1960s Batman. So this is a Batman, also considered an alternate reality. This is from the 1960s campy TV show. So this was before the kind of gritty, Dark Knight type stories that we're going to talk about in a second. So if you've seen the 1960s Batman with Adam West playing the Batman, you know, I personally like the show, and I know a lot of people are down on that because it's very campy, it's very comedic, and it doesn't really take Batman or his villains or anything very seriously. But in my opinion, it's definitely worth watching, and it's definitely memorable, and in my opinion, one of the best alternate version Funko Pops that are out there. So I have the whole 1960s line of Batman Funko Pops, which they've made quite a few. Even a Surf's Up Batman, which did not make the list, but also is a cool pop. So here is 1960s Adam West Batman. Now, number 7 on the list, this is an alternate version Batman that really kicked off the Dark Knight type persona and really changed the atmosphere from the 1960s kind of campy, not really serious approach to Batman and really kind of changed the character in a lot of ways still exists today. So this is the Batman Dark Knight by Frank Miller. So this specific pop is the armored version. And so this is, more people know about this obviously right now because of the Batman vs. Superman movie that came out a couple years ago. They took that information and it was those scenes were inspired by the Batman Dark Knight series, the first of 3 now series, but I would only recommend the first 2. So this is in his armored form that he puts on this armor to fight Superman. And so as you may have seen in the movie as well, which kind of replicates the story, this is a older, aged, really beaten down Batman, and he doesn't want to give it up. He doesn't want to give up the mantle. He's kind of a grumpy old men version of Batman, but he's thicker, he's got a lot of scars, but he's super serious. And it just was an awesome storyline, and again, changed the trajectory of Batman stories up until now. So here is Batman the Dark Knight in his armored version. I do have the other Batman pops for the Dark Knight series. There's a blue and black version of Batman that didn't make the list, along with his Robin, Carrie Kelly, and the Joker and Superman version. So we do have all of those as well. So number 6 on the list is definitely a fan favorite and a favorite of mine. This is Batman Beyond. So this is the original Batman Beyond pop that came out, I believe, in 2011, 2012. And there's a new Funko Shop release coming out where he's in a crouching stance. So that's a must get for anyone, especially if you didn't get a chance to get the original Batman Beyond pop. I think one was also released with the animated series box set, which I don't have that metallic version. But Batman Beyond, really awesome storyline. This is an alternate universe where this teenager named Terry McGinnis somehow finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and Bruce Wayne is at that point retired and is older, similar to the Dark Knight storyline. And so Bruce Wayne takes Terry McGinnis under his wing, gets him some gadgets and a suit, and helps him fight crime. So this was an animated series that kind of spawned off of the Batman animated series that we're going to talk about a little bit later, and then became its own comic book and still has a comic book series to this day. So Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis makes the list. Now at number 5, this is one of the more obscure Batman costumes and alternate variants, and was super hard to find. I did not find him at retail. And this is a reason why I love what Funko does with some of these obscure versions of Batman. Now this particular Batman was in issue Batman 113 back in February 1958. So this is Batman Zur-En-Arrh. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So really cool suit, purple and orange. So the story with this character was back in issue 113, Batman finds himself on a planet called Zur-En-Arrh, and there's an alien named Tolano who decides that he wants to be that planet's version of Batman. So he becomes the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. So an interesting piece of that story is that Batman, the real Batman, learns that while he is on this planet, Zur-En-Arrh, he actually has powers like Superman. And at the end of the issue, it actually doesn't confirm whether this actually happens or if it was some sort of a fever dream of Bruce Wayne, which I thought was kind of neat. This character was also revitalized in the 2000s by a popular writer named Grant Morrison, and Batman Zur-En-Arrh became kind of a phrase in the Batman RIP story arc, where it was described that Batman Zur-En-Arrh was an alternate persona of Batman, kind of a more aggressive persona that he had as a backup in case his current persona was compromised. So really weird, but Grant Morrison wrote some really weird stuff. But Batman Zur-En-Arrh makes the list at number 5. Number 4 on the list is Batman as a vampire. So of course we would need a vampire version of Batman. So this character is from the storyline Batman Red Rain, which again is an Elseworlds alternate reality where Batman teams up with a young vampire to take down Dracula, and he decides that the only way to take down Dracula is to become a vampire himself. So he has the friendly vampire bite him, so he gets the powers of a vampire, and they end up defeating Dracula. So the artwork in that was awesome. It was by Kelly Jones, who really has this dark, gritty style, kind of jagged style. So it was perfect for this storyline. But for Funko to make a pop like this, I was really excited when I heard that this came out and had to get it. It was a common, so it was easy to find, probably still easy to find. But number 4 on the list, Batman Red Rain. Number 3 on the list is an alternate version of Batman who is evil. So this is a more recent character that played a role in some recent storylines called Death Metal in DC, which I can't even begin to explain the plot. It was very, in my opinion, complex. But anyway, here is the Batman Who Laughs. So this is a really neat, interesting looking pop. Is Batman that essentially looks like the Joker, and he has this spiked visor on his eyes, kind of like Cyclops from Marvel. So a really freaky character. So the background story for this guy is the Batman in this alternate reality. In order to beat the Joker, he basically decides that he needs to become the Joker, and so he starts taking the Joker serum, and over time becomes the Joker, and then shifts over to becoming evil. The cool thing about this is that the Batman Who Laughs really is a differentiation from the current Batman, because it's rare to actually find the real current Batman laughing in any storyline. So the Batman Who Laughs in and of itself would be different, but this is a Batman who turned himself into the Joker, became evil essentially, and then he kind of opened the floodgates to our world somehow using some various metal from the Death Metal series, and brings through this portal all these different evil versions of Batman, which there are pops of, but this is the only one that made the list. So we have Batman Who Laughs. Number 2 on the list is also another recent storyline alternate Batman that came out that I absolutely love this series. This is written and drawn by Sean Murphy, which the artwork is phenomenal. I love Sean Murphy's artwork. So this is Batman White Knight. So this recently just came out in a Funko Pop form as a 2-pack, along with the Joker from that storyline, Jack Napier, as the Joker. So the story in this alternate universe is that the Joker kind of regains his sanity and starts to help Gotham in his own way as his regular persona, Jack Napier. But Batman doesn't quite believe that the Joker as Jack Napier is really good. And in him trying to take down the Joker, who is in this storyline seen as a good guy from the populace of Gotham, Batman actually is seen as a bad guy and starts to turn into a wanted vigilante. So in this story, the Joker tries to take on Gotham crime through politics, as opposed to kind of Batman's way with his fist, and really does a nice job of flipping the roles of the Joker and the Batman, where Batman's the villain in this and Joker's the hero. So I can't say enough about this series. Really awesome. Batman White Knight. I think there's 2 volumes out, and then there's a separate Harley Quinn spinoff, which was really good too, and that was not drawn by Sean Murphy, but really awesome comic book. And this makes the list at number 2, Batman White Knight. So what is the number 1 Batman alternate version that's on the list? So I hopefully you've liked those 9 so far. I had to go back to my childhood for this one, and this was really pulling on my nostalgic heartstrings. And this is Batman from the animated series, which was back when I was a kid, and I absolutely love that cartoon. My wife and I just recently watched quite a few episodes on Netflix. So Batman the animated series is an alternate universe, so he's not going to stand up on here on his own, so I'll just hold him. That was created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, and it just was phenomenal. They rewrote the history in a way that kind of combined a lot of Batman's older stories and newer stories. I love the art and the look of Batman and the other characters in this series. It just was phenomenal. You can't say enough about this series. Just one of the best cartoons ever, in my opinion. And so I was really excited when they made the Batman animated series Funko Pop line, which we have all of them. And Batman here, of course, tops the list at number 1. So I do have a couple honorable mentions that I want to make as well, but before I do that, make sure to comment below and let me know if you agree with me on these top 10 lists. Did your favorite Batman or alternate version Batmans make the list? If not, what do you think should have been in the list? So I have 2 honorable mentions. The first is Caveman Batman. So this was a Funko Shop exclusive that I had no idea what it was when it dropped, but it was Batman, so I had to get it. And so looking this up, this is an older storyline as well, similar to the Batman Zur-En-Arrh storyline, where Batman finds himself on a random island, and his suit is compromised to the point where he has to wear I guess, a caveman outfit, which is suitable for the island. So just doesn't make sense at all, but it's just campy enough, and it really captures some of the weird storylines that existed back when Batman first around, those issue 100 to 200s. So really just cool that they made a pop of this. So it didn't make the top 10, but definitely wanted to mention it. Honorable mention, Batman, Caveman Batman. And the second honorable mention is BAT-MITE. So BAT-MITE is a imp character similar to the Superman villain Mr. Mxyzptlk, who they also have a Funko Pop of. But BAT-MITE is an imp that idolizes Batman and has come to visit him many times in his real dimension and universe. But BAT-MITE was introduced in Detective Comics 267 back in May 1959 and has been reintroduced into the Batman world through some Elseworld tales and in regular continuity, just kind of visiting Batman and being in some weird storylines of his own. I think he had his own miniseries a couple years ago, but definitely a really cool Batman character, an alternate version Batman. So here is the BAT-MITE imp version of Batman. So there you have it. Happy Batman Day. Hope you enjoyed yourself. My wife and I were out kind of shopping, and of course I had to wear one of my Batman shirts, and I didn't see anyone else wearing a Batman shirt. So spread the word that the 3rd September of third Saturday of every year is Batman Day. So hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you click the like button and let me know if you agree with this top 10 or if you would change it in any way. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, The POPthusiast, to get more Funko Pop and pop culture related videos like this. So hope you enjoyed your Batman Day, and we will see you next time.